Have you ever heard water-soluble graphite pencil? And this is 10B and I'm going to test it now on my portrait. Let's see if this can save time for me and create the abstract look that I'm looking for. This is my reference photo and I'm going to draw the hair with the water-soluble graphite. While I'm drawing my portrait before the hair, I want to tell you a few tips. First, why did I choose the hair? Because it's very curly and it will take me hours to do it with normal graphite pencils. So I chose that water-soluble graphite pencil would be the best here in terms of efficiency and fun. The second thing is, as you can see, I am right now drawing with dry brush technique with my charcoal. I don't recommend it because in the end what happened, the hair was supposed to look darker, but it did not because it's still graphite and charcoal is much darker than graphite. So it looked like her face was more prominent than her hair, which I didn't really want. So if I could go back in time now, I would draw the face with graphite only. And the third thing I want to say, what we can do with this pencil instead of hair. Like, okay, I'm using it for hair here, but what else can you do? Maybe you can do some abstract work. You can definitely use it in your mixed media because it really gives beautiful shades of gray. And of course, your abstract portraits and even maybe in landscapes. One thing you need to know about water-soluble graphite is it's not erasable. Especially when you add water, it's almost impossible. I mean, there's no way to remove it anymore. So before you add the water, make sure that your graphite pencil is where you want it to be. I'm cleaning up because I'm gonna add the hair now and I want it to be charcoal free. If you ask me which paper I'm using right now, it's a vellum paper. It's 300 grams. It needs to be a thick paper because we are working with water. It has to absorb the water. This is my water-soluble graphite pencil and it's called graphite stick. It's 10B. I have my water and round brush. First, I'm going to try it up here and make some spirals looking like curly hair. And then I'm gonna add some water to test it out. I hope it turns out well. Another thing I want to mention is that it's not going to look like exactly like watercolor once we add water. You can still see the lines underneath. That's the beauty of it. It's not completely like watercolor. It's a mixture of both. Now let's add water and you will understand what I mean. You can see it looks really black, but trust me guys, once it dries, it lightens up. And from this experiment here, I learned that the first layer really matters. I had to do smaller curls and also I think I had to add more graphite because due to the lack of the graphite, it just looks really bland right now. But also, before it dries, don't add the second layer. It needs to dry first, and then you can go over with the second layer. With this experience, now I'm adding more graphite here. And instead of adding curls, I'm adding more shadows here. Doesn't necessarily have to have a shape because I'm going to add water, then it's just going to look dark. That's it. As you can see, that's larger than, you can see it's larger up here. Okay, I think it looks good. I'm drawing these curls on top of each other so that I have a good layer of graphite. And with the same moves, I'm adding water. It's fun, guys. I'll tell you what, it's really, really fun. Okay, another thing I want to mention, as you can see, it doesn't shine. You know, graphite has a shine to it, but this prevents the shine. Once you add the water, it really looks like watercolor work. as you can see, this was a much better portion than I did in the top part because I added more layer than this, and also that means I had more graphite on it. Now I learned, so I can add more graphite on the left part and add all the curls the way I want. You can probably see it right now much better that once I apply it looks really dark, like black, but once it dries it's turning like 2 or 3 shades down. Looks like a dark gray now. This adding water part is so much fun, and you can always use whatever kind of left off on your brush to another section if you want to. And one thing I realized that the water doesn't get dirty, guys, because it's not watercolor, I guess. My water was clean during the whole process. It was very interesting. See, I'm adding the second layer because now it's completely dry. And we will see if this is going to work. The reason I added a second layer on top of what I already had done on the right top part is because it didn't look natural. I didn't really like those large curls and it just didn't look nice. I added the second layer and now I'm adding the water of the second layer, and I think it's gonna work out, guys. It's fun. It's really good. So you already realized the face has darker features than the hair, and this is all because I used charcoal instead of graphite. Again, I'm telling you, if you want hair to look darker, then use graphite for the face as well. It would have been much nicer if I did that. Now, I don't like the top left corner. It looked really light where the hair meets her forehead. I'm going to darken it up now and we will see what happens. It wasn't dark enough, so I went over it again with some charcoal dust. So then it was looking better in the end. So you can add charcoal on top of this graphite, guys. Normally you can't, as you know. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please share in the comments how was your experience with these pencils. I hope you subscribe and like this video. Bye.